Do you believe in curses? From King Tut to the infamous Curse of the Billy Goat for you Chicago Cubs fans, humans seem to take joy or at least find some comfort in believing in the unbelievable. Why do I bring up curses, you ask? Because today we are reviewing the console version of The Bridge Curse: Road to Salvation. Now you don't want to get hit with the curse of the Indie Krampus, do you? Check out patreon.com/idreamofindiegames to learn about how you can defeat the gaming echo chamber. A Taiwanese horror game, The Bridge Curse: Road to Salvation follows the now familiar trend of attempting to spook players from the first-person perspective while having them rely on exploration, stealth, and the occasional puzzle in order to survive this spooky 5 to 7 hours full of frights. Originally released back in August of 2022 on the PC, East Asia Soft has picked up the publishing rights for the console release, so now everyone can head back to college or perhaps go for the first time and do some ghost hunting. And that's where our story is going to take place, a college campus called Tunghu University, where a group of brave students set out to hunt ghosts and learn more about the infamous cursed bridge. The students work together to create a documentary of sorts where they will live stream events, gather photos, and unravel clues to hopefully uncover the truth about the mystery at hand. It's all good campy fun, though players who aren't into B-movie style horror will likely roll their eyes at the absurdity of it all. Terrible English voice performances will either add to the charm for some players or make the whole experience unbearable at times. One interesting note here is that while the East Asia Soft website lists available languages as English and Chinese with a variety of subtitle options, in this review build I was unable to switch from English, which was pretty brutal because I would have personally enjoyed having the native voice acting. Hopefully that issue is resolved or patched, but ultimately, as a fan of this genre that kinda knew what I was in for, I was at least entertained by the storyline, warts and all. As I touched on earlier, the majority of the gameplay in The Bridge Curse: Road to Salvation involves a good deal of walking and locating items, hiding from ghosts and sneaking around them, and solving a puzzle every now and then, though the game in my opinion could have benefited from maybe a few more brain teasers. The exploration will involve bouncing between different locations of the campus, either meeting up with other students or finding memos and items to help progress the storyline forward. This is a dark game, literally, with a good deal of backtracking, so expect a bit of bumbling around at times and the occasional struggle to figure out what item you might have missed or where to go next. The stealth I found to be the weakest aspect of this game. As you encounter ghosts, you'll need to run as quickly as you can from them and duck into lockers or porta potties until they pass. What was frustrating about these segments were how scripted they felt. If I didn't run a certain path exactly like the game wanted me to, it would result in a one-hit kill from the ghost and having to do the section all over again. There is very little room for experimentation with this stealth engine, and I felt like having to do these sections ad nauseum really killed a good deal of the game's tension and atmosphere, which can admittedly be quite good at times. The puzzles are pretty standard brain ticklers that you've seen in countless other horror games, offering little in the way of significant challenge. Connect the wires or gather the items, the usual tropes are here, but at the least they weren't overly frustrating and did help to break up the gameplay a bit. You'll be switching between character perspectives throughout the game and also have access to a mobile phone. Here you can follow along with text from fellow classmates and keep track of your items and where you should be headed next. While I did mention getting lost a few times, overall players should be able to find where they're going eventually, as the campus isn't all that massive and the game's inventory system through that phone is actually pretty decent. Alright, so we have a game with some pretty good scares at times, middling stealth, so-so puzzles, and plenty of backtracking, but the graphical presentation is honestly quite well done. The campus has a bleak, oppressive feel to it with great lighting and atmosphere. Classrooms feature creepy tricks like moving chairs, flying dolls, and other little touches that might even give you the occasional jump scare. While the game's character models are a bit lacking, the ghosts are creepy, and overall performance was extremely smooth on the PS5 version, which felt like a nice locked 60 FPS, and I didn't come across any real bugs or glitches in my time with the game. And I know I touched on the poor English voice acting earlier, but the sound design otherwise is pretty well done. Creaking doors, footsteps, ghostly screams, it all sounds wonderful and really adds to the tension. While most of the soundtrack is eerie, trickling noises, I thought it all came together nicely to create a scary visual and audio presentation.
There should be clues nearby.
I'm too old for these kind of surprises.
The Bridge Curse: Road to Salvation isn't perfect, and I'm not a huge fan of that title, but if you're a fan of first-person horror, I can still recommend it. The stealth was a bit frustrating for my taste, and the exploration somewhat lacking, but the scares and atmosphere helped to make up for some of those shortcomings. I'd personally say grab this one on a sale at some point if you enjoy the horror genre. It's a bit short, but offers up fun frights for a weekend playthrough.